I call this regular meeting of the Mexico City Council to order.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Councilman West.
Yes.
First item on the agenda is approval of minutes, September 12th, 2016, regular session.
I move approval of the September 12th minutes.
Second.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Councilman West.
Yes.
Okay, the next item, a public hearing to consider a change to sanitary sewer use charge rates. I move to open the public hearing.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols.
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Councilman West.
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Thank you, Councilman. Notice of this public hearing was advertised in the Mexico Ledger on August 10th, 2016. This hearing is for purposes of discussing the rate increase proposal, which would be 3%. That advertisement did meet DNR's requirement of a 30-day notice. The current user charge per 1,000 gallons is $1.15. That would change to $1.19. The capital charge portion would move from $4.82 to $4.96, and the base rate per month would move from $8.57 to $8.83. On a residence using 5,000 gallons of water per month, the current billing they would receive from the city would be $38.43. The proposed billing would go to $39.58. As a little bit of a background to the public, in February of 2008, the City of Mexico retained the engineering services of Horner and Schifrin of St. Louis to complete a facility plan on the city's wastewater treatment operation. The study clearly revealed that our aging infrastructure, industrial pretreatment program, and modifications to the regulatory requirements mandated by the Department of Natural Resources for effluent limitations created an immediate need for an upgrade of our existing wastewater facilities. Following Horner and Schifrin's presentation to council and to the public, Municipal Financial Services Group reviewed with council a multi-year financial projection of how to pay for those improvements. That same year, voters approved through a bond election sewage system revenue bonds in the amount of $16 million, and that passed by a 10-to-1 margin. During the 2010-2011 years, $11,460,000 in revenue bonds were issued, representing two phases of improvement needs. In keeping with the updated financial projections presented to the council and the public, a scheduled sewer rate adjustment is required to provide adequate financial resources for debt service and continued improvements to the wastewater treatment facility and collection system. I do have a short PowerPoint presentation just to go over some of the costs associated with operating the plant and what we're looking at in the projected costs into the future. Basically, there are four major components that we look at the cost of operating out of the plant. First would be our operating maintenance, daily operations and maintenance of equipment. Secondly, we have the cash-funded capital outlays, plant structures, collection system, vehicles and equipment. The debt service obligations, basically the payment of the revenue bonds, which we borrowed funds to make the $11,400,000 in improvements. And then lastly, repair, renewal, and replacement reserves. That's basically set aside funds to take care of repairs and replacement of equipment as that might break down and need to be reworked. I do want to note in the capital budget that we've developed for 2016 2017, we're looking at approximately $1,021,500 in capital outlay for improvements to the plant and collection facilities. Two major components of that $1 million will be $200,000 for slip lining, and then $500,000 for purchasing new blowers for the aeration system. I do want to point out the $500,000 for the aeration system. We have aged blowers for our plant operations, and it is believed that that put in these new blowers will have a significant savings on our electricity cost. So we're going to try to get those in place as soon as we can during this next fiscal year to see what kind of savings it does create, and hopefully that will help us in future adjustments for it not being so significant.
Roger, your chart, or at least the one I have, shows in the projected fiscal year 2016, 408,000 for the same thing. Did we just not do it during that fiscal year, or does that carry over, or what?
Okay, the 408,000 is for completing the generator
Oh, okay.
facility.
All right.
And it's just basically on that same line item to the left. We've got generator 2016 and then blowers for 2007.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Another item that we must make sure that we're able to cover is, of course, our annual debt service on the bonds. And looking at the bottom row, basically our payments annually range anywhere from $637,000 all the way up to $783,000. The next few years, we're going to be looking at roughly $780,000 plus in tackling the debt that we have and making those required improvements. As a summary, our O&M cost as in our budget for next year is $1,658,000. We did note that we're going to have approximately $1 million in capital improvements, and of course our obligation to debt service is $775,678. So our total expenditures in next year's budget is a little over $3.5 million. With this 3% adjustment, we're looking at anticipated revenue of approximately $2,957,000. So we will be dipping into our reserves by approximately $578,000 in order to tackle some of those capital improvements. But that is planned. When we were going back a few years, when we started setting up our rates in 2013, well, we go back to 2012, we basically were able to build about $333,000 in surplus. And then the next year, in 2013, approximately $507,000. We started dipping into some of that surplus in 2014 by about $21,000. And then we built surplus up again in 2015, knowing that we had the generator to pay for, which is a total of about $450,000 to $460,000 project. And then, of course, this next year having a $500,000 blower system to install. So you'll see that our reserves in 2016 were anticipated to be drawn down by a little over $500,000. The same in 2017. The drawdown of some of the reserves that we've built will continue into 18 and 19, and then by 20 we start the cycle all over again, start building our reserves for other projects. The benefit of that is we don't have to borrow the money. When we borrowed our $5.6 million on one of our phases, that was over 30 years. When we paid it over 30 years, even at low interest rates, those that have home mortgages, they end up paying double for what you originally borrowed. So whenever we can tackle these $500,000 projects with cash, we're saving the taxpayers a lot of money by not having those financing costs. The question I do get commonly is comparisons. How do we compare with other cities our size? The ones that we are most compared to are, of course, Fulton, Hannibal, Marshall, and Moberly. And looking at those rates, we're proposing that our rate, based on 5,000 gallons, would be approximately $39.58. Fulton is currently at $38.89 on the same 5,000 gallons, but they've not had their rate adjustment yet. Hannibal is currently $39.50. Marshall is actually a little higher than us now, even though they haven't had their rate adjustment yet. That's $40.05. And then Moberly is $49.50. So we want to show this comparison just to let you know that towns our size in our area, that we are very competitive, and we're watching to get as much money value out of our improvements as possible. All of us live here too, so we try to make that a very, very effective process. And lastly, I bring this up every year, the rate covenant. According to the bond covenants, if we do not set back the appropriate amount of money, basically it says that each fiscal year, we should have net revenues not less than 110% of the debt service requirements of such fiscal year, and we have to go out and hire a consultant, and the consultant tells us what we should have done, and we don't want to have to go out and pay somebody to tell us what we need to do, when we should already know what we need to do. That was that answer any questions?
One quick question, Roger. I notice on Columbia right now, they're 3173, and they're proposing 108.80.
That's non-residential.
Okay, never mind. Forget that question.
Their non-residential is extremely high.
Right.
You know, the ones in this bar graph, when you see someone that typically has a lower residential rate than what the city of Mexico has, there's two things that are typically occurring. Number one, they're a lot larger in population, so they're able to spread out that cost of operating facilities over a larger number of people. And some have chosen to pass that rate on to the businesses.
i.e. Columbia. Any other questions from the council? As it is a public hearing, we'll open the floor up for any public comments. If you have a comment you'd like to make, please step up to the podium, state your name and address, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. Questions or comments? Council, again, any questions or comments? Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Lush,
Yes.
The next item, under old business ordinance, second reading by title only and passage for tonight, bill number 2016-60, an ordinance revising the budget for the city of Mexico, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1, 2015 to September 30th, 2016 inclusive, and adopting the budget for the fiscal year October 1, 2016 to September 30th, 2017 inclusive, appropriating the funds as allocated to various accounts, and authorizing the expenditure of such funds by the city manager and other officials for the purposes indicated. As I said, second reading by title only and passage. Mr. Haynes?
Well, if there are no additional questions, council did hold a public meeting and gave first reading and consideration to the attached ordinance on September 12th. And staff recommends that council proceed with the second reading by title only and passage approving the 2016-2017 operating capital budget.
Your pleasure, gentlemen.
Okay, I move for reading of bill number 2016-60, second reading by title only.
Second.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Lush,
Yes. Bill number 2016-60, an ordinance revising the budget for the city of Mexico, Missouri for the fiscal year October 1, 2015 to September 30, 2016 inclusive, and adopting the budget for the fiscal year October 1, 2016 to September 30, 2017 inclusive, appropriating the funds as allocated to various accounts, and authorizing the expenditures of such funds by the city manager and our other officials for the purpose indicated. Move for passage of bill number 2016-60.
Second.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams,
Yes.
Councilman Lush,
Yes.
Okay, your new business, bill number 2016-63, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute agreements with various organizations for requested funding from the Mexico tourism tax. Reading and passage. Mr. Haynes?
We do have two requests from the organizations of Missouri Life Magazine and Presser Performing Arts Center. The Tourism Commission met in June in discussion of how they would like to utilize funds in advertising tourism in Missouri Life. And then they also met on September 22nd to look at an application presented by Presser Performing Arts Center for an upcoming production. And as far as Missouri Life, the 2016-2017 advertising campaign, the amount recommended is $11,500. That will cover 8 issues of the Missouri Life magazine, to which we will have advertising, and then a special pull-out program during the course of the year, which will have 40,000 plus issues going throughout the state and into bordering states. Missouri Life, we funded that in the amount of $11,960 in 2014, and in this past year, 2016, it was $11,000. We will pick up 1 additional month of advertising. Presser Performing Arts Center, they're requesting $3,000 for their 2016 holiday production, which is Into the Woods. And the commission recommends they be funded for the full $3,000. This event will run 4 days, December 1st through December 4th, and they've been funded for the $3,000 value the past 2 fiscal years. Staff recommends that council concur with the Mexico Tourism Commission's recommendation and proceed with reading and passage of the attached resolution.
How many magazines does Missouri Life print? I think I remember that number to be about 70,000 during the months they print. Is that correct? Or?
I'm not sure on the total, and I apologize for not having that number in front of me. I was thinking it was that or more.
Well,
one of the things that we have done for this next year is we've sat down with them already on 2 occasions, getting ready for this 2016-2017 budget year, in looking at that special insert into the magazine as far as how to promote Mexico and get people to, stay here and dine and shop and spend some dollars in Mexico. That special insert, they're looking at 40 to 50,000 copies of that going out, and it's going to be a smaller size than 8.5 by 11. It's going to be something that someone can easily store in their vehicle or even in the satchel of their motorcycle or whatever the case may be. And then the other thing that we're working on them with is to do a editorial and time it with next spring, early summer on Walk Back in Time. And I received an email today. I invited them to come to Walk Back in Time this weekend. I got an email this morning that said that they did attend Saturday and were able to see in person what an event that it is, and they're pretty excited about doing an editorial story on that.
great, thank you.
I have a question, not about these 2 specific items, but since tourism's on the agenda, how do we go about, so it was brought to my attention that some of the places that get money from us they're not organizations that report money. They don't report what's going on with their cash flow or anything. So in essence, we could be paying for the advertising, they're making money, and they can pocket it and do it whatever they want with it. So how does that work? Because this is taxpayer money. I mean, it is taxpayer money, and then they're not reporting. So,
no, that is a good question. Whenever you give an approval for money to be spent to help them with their particular event, they are aware that in order to get that funding, they have to show proof of that expenditure.
yeah, of the advertising.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at is, so we pay for the advertising, then they make money on the event, and then they can do whatever they want with the money that they make on the event. We paid for all the advertising.
Well, it is.
Because they're not public, they're not, like when we do like the Walk Back in Time or even Missouri Life or stuff with the chamber, they present their budgets to us, But there's a lot of organizations that we give a nice chunk of money to that present nothing to us. And I'm sure they're probably not spending much more than what we're giving them on advertising, but they're making money, and they're not a group. They're not filing taxes. They're not doing anything. So is there a legal implication on that?
Well, you know, I guess we're going under the, it is a good question, and I'll be glad to look into that further. But under what guidance we've had in the past is we want to promote whatever events that we can afford to promote in Mexico. And there are events that we really feel like people will come and spend money in town. If an event gets so popular that that event is profitable, great. Now, as far as funding those that we do right now, about 15 different events, anywhere from Holiday Express to Walk Back in Time to the Brick City Bad Boys car shows. Many of those do have their nonprofits, but there are some organizations such as possibly the Brick City Car Show where they don't have the financial strength to go out and do it on their own up front. So we basically control, when they do the advertising, we control the direct payment to the person that they advertise with or the company they advertise with. But I'm not going to be able to give you an answer right now on which ones make money and which ones do not. It's just the main focus of getting those events to town.
Well, it was brought to my attention because a couple of years ago we had a debate about giving money for the Christmas lights, and they had to get a 501c, I think it was, before we could give them money. And they had to get a different group to represent them to get the money, is what ended up happening. But with tourism money, we don't have that requirement, which kind of makes me wonder, because what's the difference? It's tax money. It's people's tax money, so why is there a difference if it's comes from one fund or another fund?
What portion of the tourism money is produced by, is it all out of our budget, all taxed out of our budget?
It's all from the overnight stays in our
Okay,
hotels here in
it's
town.
derived from people staying here.
Yes.
It isn't actually cash, it isn't actually taxpayers' part of their tax bill. It's derived from
The lodging tax.
Lodging tax,
Yes,
yes.
100%.
I didn't know whether that had anything to do with the ability to spend it or not in comparison to the Christmas lights, because the money, we are not paying the money to the budget. It's coming in indirectly. We're
Right.
just administering it, right?
And the tourism committee meets and reviews it, and generally one of the people that are involved in the requesting agency are there to explain to them, so they make a recommendation to us, but it's already been filtered at least once before it gets to the council.
Correct.
Right. No, I was just wondering about the legal implications on that, and then I was also, I know we've talked in the past, but it was also brought to my attention that some of the events that you brought up that we get most of the money, from hotel stays, right? All of it. But some of the events we sponsor pretty much have no hotel, hardly any hotel stays. But we're gonna have Goldcrest here doing their event this week, and every single hotel room is booked in this town, in Kingdom City, and we can't help them at all. Because
They
it's,
request anything.
well, I mean, they're not an event though.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not a
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so we've never really defined what we want from that tourism dollar, just to say, hey, come to us for money. We don't have a requirement, so. I know we've talked about it in the past, and they were gonna do something with it, but I've never heard anything about what their specifications were for that.
We do have some guidelines, and I'll be glad to we'll go back through that and report back to council.
Thank you.
Have a resolution before the council.
I move for reading of bill number 2016-63.
Second.
Councilman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Nichols?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Lush?
Yes.
Bill number 2016-63, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute agreements with various organizations for requested funding from the Mexico tourism tax. Whereas the Mexico Tourism Commission recommends to City Council that Missouri Life Impressive Performing Arts Center be allowed to receive tourism funding for their tourism advertising campaign. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, that the city manager be authorized to enter into agreements on behalf of the City of Mexico with Missouri Life Impressive Performing Arts Center for tourism funding. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force in effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2016-63.
Second.
Councilman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Nichols?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Lush?
Yes.
Under new business, the next item is bill number 2016-64. An ordinance amending Chapter 14, Article 3, Division 4, Section 14-123 of the Mexico City Code relating to the sanitary sewer use charges. Two readings by title only and passage. Mr. Haynes?
Again, a public hearing was held earlier this evening, providing the council with both background and future planning information for necessary capital improvements to the wastewater treatment facility and collection system. Staff has gone through a 5-year financial projection of wastewater rates required to cover costs associated with operations, maintenance, capital projects currently underway and forthcoming, addressing both capacity and compliance in the city's wastewater treatment operation. Based on a 5-year financial plan projection, staff provides the following comparison between current rates and the proposed rates, as mentioned earlier in the public hearing. The user charge portion would move from $1.15 per 1,000 gallons to $1.19. The capital charge portion would move from $4.82 to $4.96, again based on 1,000 gallons. And the total monthly charge for just the base fee would be moving from $8.57 to $8.83 per month. And also, users of a utility collection system that are located and or deliver sewer flow from outside the city's corporate limits shall be billed at a rate of 150% of the rates established for user types based on monthly metered water flow received from those flow contributors within the city corporate limits. Staff recommends that council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance.
I just have one question I just thought about. Is there any change to the fees outside of the city limits?
That would change automatically based on the 150% charge over the newly established rate.
Okay, thank you.
I move for first reading bill number 2016-64, first reading.
Second.
Councilman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Nichols?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Lush?
Yes.
Bill number 2016-64, an ordinance amending Chapter 14, Article 3, Division 4, Sections 14 through 123 of the Mexico City Code related to sanitary sewer use charge. I move for second reading of bill number 2016-64.
Second.
Councilman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Nichols?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Lush?
Yes.
Bill number 2016-64, an ordinance amending Chapter 14, Article 3, Division 4, Sections 14 through 123 of the Mexico City Code relating to sanitary sewer charge, use charge. I move for the passage of bill number 2016-64.
Second.
Councilman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Nichols?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Lush?
Yes.
Okay, the next item under other business claims.
I make a motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Councilman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Nichols?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Lush?
Yes.
Next item is comments. We start with the council first. Councilman Lesh.
Well, I'd just like to say kudos to all the volunteers who worked this weekend at Walk Back in Time, and including our own Councilman Miller over there, who drove around in his and his cart, bringing guests in and out of the facility and doing other things. So great work to see so many volunteers, and it was a great event for Mexico, including this troop who was out there working this last weekend. So thanks to you. Also, again, I mentioned this last time, but a great job on the budget, putting together a $14.5 million spending plan for our city, and prioritizing projects for our city is very important. And kudos to the staff and directors and all those who worked on that budget. And it's good to see all of the Boy Scouts here from Troop 57. Thank you for coming.
I'd like also to echo the comments about the budget. Great job on the budget. I know it's a long process. People don't realize how much time and energy it takes to get that done. So I appreciate everybody's hard work on that. Past couple weeks been kind of a lot of stuff going on. We had Walk Back in Time this weekend. That was an excellent event. Always brings a lot of people into town. I was sad yesterday because they canceled the Civil War reenactment because apparently the Union gave up before. They didn't even show up. So that was sad.
They would have won.
How do you know that?
I got to attend a ham radio. They had an event they put on once a month. That was kind of interesting. They had people calling in from all over the country. That was pretty cool. Also, me and my son attended the National Weather Service spotter class, which was in town last week, and that was pretty interesting to learn that. And I'd also like to welcome the Boy Scouts, and thanks for all you guys do in the community. Appreciate it.
Also like to thank, excellent job on the budget. And I wasn't actually there, but when the North fought the South, the North did win. So I've got that part down pat.
Pretty old, aren't you?
Yes.
That was on Saturday.
He wore his uniform.
I'd like to thank Speedy for ushering people around, so that's all I've got. Oh, you're done.
Well.
Rebuttal.
Hey, it was just a ride, that's all. It was a great event. It was a good time, and there was a lot of people there. I hope they enjoyed it. I hope it's an event we can continue to grow with over the years. And the Boy Scouts, I'm an executive board member for the Great Rivers Council. I'm always happy to see the Boy Scouts. And I always want all you boys to make sure you get your Eagle Scout Award. Keep working. And it requires this community service award you're probably working on tonight or something of that sort. So keep it up. You can be one of these council members in a few years, and you'll have learned something maybe now. So,
Mr. Haynes?
I just wanted to mention, in addition to Walk Back in Time, here that Zenith's Fly-In Day was one of the best ever. So again, good things are happening in Mexico.
Well, yes, first of all, welcome to the Scouts of Troop and leaders of Troop 57. Glad to have you here. I hope you picked up some little thing of information that'll pique your interest in government. Yeah, the walk back in time was great. The parking was not. I had to walk 3 blocks to walk up the hill into the mansion, and
I saw
walk
you,
back.
but I don't want to give you a ride.
There goes your dollar. I am very pleased, Kenzie, to see that our project on Morris Street is completed. Almost.
Work still has to be done.
Right, and we still have to take the tape and the cones down on the very south end of it. But I have seen, passing by there quite a bit, numerous people using the sidewalk. And I think that's a great thing and much safer than walking in the street. So good to see. Good to see a lot of the other projects around town getting done, and thank you for your work on that, Kenzie. Now we'll open up for public comments. If you have any comments you'd like to make, please step up to the podium, give your name and address, and if possible, try to limit your comments to about 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Fiedler, 1617 Meadow Lane. I appreciate, Mr. Williams, your concern about the tourism tax, and I get what you're asking. But at the same time, I kind of think that if we don't trust people to do the right thing with their money, we shouldn't give them money in the first place. So I just wanted to say that. And then also, on those same lines, when we do give them money, I think the point of the tourism tax is for them to make money and to bring people in. And so if events are bringing people in and they're staying at the hotels and they're eating at our restaurants, the hotels and restaurants don't have to report, that these people were here for their event. So I don't necessarily think the event should have to report it either. I think that bringing people in is generally a good thing. And I think that's what the tourism tax is for, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name's Thomas Fiedler. I live with her, and I agree with her. I'm not in trouble tonight. I'll be quick because I know everybody wants to get home and watch a donkey and an elephant talk to each other on TV for a good while tonight.
End the debate.
Yeah. First thing I wanted to point out, and I want to say this first to make sure I get it in there, is Roger Haynes with the water slideshow and everything. Great job. And I love the fact that you answer questions before I even have the ability to form them in my head. Like I'd look at it like he's got it. So that's great. I also wanted to point out with the tourism tax, all the questions that were being asked about that. We need to ask those same questions anytime we spend any taxpayer money whatsoever, but especially if it comes from the citizens of Mexico, Missouri. By and large, people staying in the hotels, that's taxation without representation. We don't really need to worry about that as much because it's not our citizenry. That's not who you guys are responsible to. If somebody comes in here from Columbia and stays in a hotel, you guys don't answer to them. That's not your electorate. But whenever we send out money to organizations like a drug task force, and I ask each and every one of you up there if you spoke to any citizens about it beforehand, and all of you say no, but then you vote on it and approve it, why was that concern not there for that? We gave out $1,000 for that. Numerous other projects that we give out large sums of money to. Let's have that concern all the way across the board and make sure that we have everything on the table with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one approaching the podium, I move for adjournment.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilman West,
Yes.